Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. I don't have to tell you that stress is not good for you. You've heard that slogan, stress kills. It really does. But we deal with it, or we have to deal with it. It's in our lives. It's everywhere. How you deal with it is the game changer. A lot of times it's connected to those in your life creating the stress for you or you allowing it. As I understand it, those individuals are known as tyrants. It's almost a word that goes back to like the medieval times. But that word is what we describe those people that take your energy and give you that stress. She is somebody that helps people remove or mitigate stress. And just a piece of what she does in giving people the courage to shine. She is the woman behind Directions for Wellness. And she's back with us. Sara Regester, our professional of the year, joins us once again. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great, Steve. And I'm always happy to support people to learn how they can master their stress, because you can't always get rid of those things that are stressing you out, whether it's, people in your life or the weather or anything. That, when we get triggered by stress, a lot of times it's because there's an energy that we're losing energy by getting reactive and annoyed, or maybe we lose our space and feel insecure. So there's a lot of ways that these annoying or difficult people show up in our lives that contribute to our stress.
Let's start with those people. Let's put the focus on those people. What's your first piece of advice you can't remove the people for the most part from your life, but how do you put up the force field, the deflector, so they don't challenge you, annoy you, stress you?
Yeah, well, it's important to recognize that sometimes, as you said, you can't just eliminate people that stress you out. I mean, that you could make choices with boundaries and say, I'm not going to be friends with that person anymore. But when it comes to your family and your work environment, many times you just have to find a way to actually recognize, okay, this person is annoying me by how they're speaking to you, what their behavior is, and simply eliminating them from your life might not be the solution. And if you remember last time we met, it was about if we don't change our own pattern, if we don't address our own issues, we will continue to bring those same patterns into the next relationship, the next job environment, and rinse and repeat. So it's much better to kind of see, how can I deal with this situation differently now? And so some tyrants might be someone in your office, perhaps, that's always borrowing things and perhaps not returning them. Or it could be the way someone speaks to you, or perhaps someone's always interrupting your workflow. Or there might be someone that has self-importance, and the way they're communicating to you, it's just like, you lose space. You can hardly hold your center. And so what's interesting about when we think about why we're triggered on the inside, that the key is to look at ourselves to think, how am I doing that to myself? How do I open the door to this person that is always doing this behavior or speaking to me in this way, or I completely lose my space and get stressed out? And so there's something about internally, we're doing that to ourselves. And if we can recognize, really it's about them, it's their stuff, it's their issue, it's really not mine, it can be a game changer. That, you can really close the door on that person's behavior. They might still act the same, but it's like water off a duck's back. Suddenly, it's just to say, hey, they're doing their thing, they're in their story, they're being that annoying self. I'm just not going to step into that energy. I can just draw the line and let them be them. I can be me. And, it's just like, it's about noticing that it's not worth me losing energy over that person's attitude or how they're speaking. And so that's part of it. And it's really important to recognize that many times we actually can address that behavior. That's the next step. Hey, when you talk to me like that, could you say it in another way? I can't really hear you when you're talking to me with that tone. And if you can have the courage to actually confront the behavior that is difficult, annoying, or set a boundary, that actually gives that person some awareness that maybe they can change how they're speaking or this behavior they're doing. And so you're actually doing them a kindness to point out that they're being annoying or they're being, talking to you in a way that doesn't work for you. And so there's all kinds of ways that ultimately it's taking care of our own energy, staying in our own lane, and how we can really just not let that person steal our energy.
You said the word at least twice, and I think it's a pivotal word. Recognize. Recognize those who are stealing your energy and or stressing you out. That being said, it could be somebody, and this I'm speaking from experience, you don't even realize that they're doing it. They're just in your life. And how do I know this? Because I was intentional in a certain relationship to take it and move it over here. This is where it needs to be because it's not supporting me, where I am in my journey, all of that. The moment I did that, literally the moment I did that, and it wasn't a lot of stress, but there was something. I felt like I was like renewed. I could breathe again, like, wow, I can see things differently. Wow. But my point here is sometimes we don't recognize that, they may not be just stressing you out, annoying you. It just may be an energy that's just not supporting you. And maybe there was a little bit of stress here and there, and you want the best for them. You care, you love them, whatever it might be. But somehow you need to move it over to the side. And easier said than done for many of us, I feel, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, what's interesting is the times when I've actually confronted individuals that I'm having a difficult time relating with them, the relationship actually, it either gets better or it changes. And so it just it diffuses that trigger.
Yeah.
And that's like gold. It's like freedom. And for example, when I had said to one of my teachers, when you talk to me like that, I can't hear your feedback. I can't learn from what you're sharing with me. Can you present it in a way that I can actually hear it? And it was like just having that conversation about what I need to communicate with you or to work with you or to listen to you. It's just having those clear agreements. And sometimes what I know about stress is it's when we don't speak up, when we're holding it in, when we're keeping it bubbling under the surface. That's where it's just brewing away. We're completely annoyed or triggered or our feelings are hurt. And it's
Wow.
Inside doing it to ourselves rather than addressing how can we shift this so I don't have to have this energy loss with you. And that's really interesting how you can actually shift a relationship by simply being clear about what's working for you and what's not working for you and what I actually need from you is this. And it's like a light bulb moment for many people. They never saw how their behavior was, undermining a relationship. So you're giving them an awareness, but if they don't get the awareness, that's okay. That, they can be in their own behavior and I'm going to have my own, okay, that's that person. They're going off on their insecure tangent again, triggering my insecurity. I'm just going to stay in my own lane and mind my own business kind of thing.
Light bulb moment. What you just said, $50 tip, Sarah's $50 tip was just there. Not speaking your truth, not speaking up is where the stress, and I never thought of it that way. Wow. I'm telling for me, and I believe everybody listening and watching this, what is stress? It's you not speaking up and sharing your truth. It could be even your job. I'm stressed out. Well, then talk about it. Talk to your superior. You're stressed out. You need to get it out because if you don't, it manifests inside and bad things can happen to you.
Yeah. And here's the golden nugget.
Oh.
I love my golden nuggets. So it takes courage to actually be honest with someone and truthful about their behavior or their communication style that's not working for you. But by confronting with kindness and truth and honesty, I will actually increase my measure of self-worth. Like there's a little energy boost inside.
Yes.
That says, yes, I did it. I spoke up for myself. I asked for what I needed, and I was clear with, what I need to change in this whole scenario, so I don't have to keep dancing this dance with this person. And the energy gained by confronting what you need from someone and addressing behavior that's not working for you, or a communication style that's just not, going to support you. It's a courageous moment, and you're giving to yourself a measure of self-worth that is golden.
Game changer. Game changer. I'm going to get a little personal for a moment to illustrate something. Do you believe in energy?
Well, yes, energy, life force energy.
Okay.
It's all around us.
So this was my situation. This goes back to October. And previously, we all deal with stressful situations, not speaking your truth. And this is why I had a light bulb moment with you just now. Now I got it. Now it's clear. Back in October, you could say the stress, whatever, turned into acute laryngitis for me. I've never had it. What the heck is going on there? That turned into, I've had skin cancer before. This was an elevated level. Where was it located? On my neck, near my throat. So if I want to energetically put these pieces together, I believe energetically that I wasn't speaking my truth, and I wasn't. And it was the stress and the manifest causing those challenges, potentially.
Yes.
In a period of just 2 months, why is all centered around that? Fine now, everything's fantastic. But why did that happen?
Well, it gets back to the mind, body, spirit. That, we are spiritual beings in this physical body learning how to be alive, basically. And the more we get out of balance, it's going to impact our health. Yep. So when I'm holding with emotions, I'm not communicating, I'm keeping it in, that is out of balance. Then energy and motion, which is really giving with an open heart, putting your voice into your truth, and whatever the spectrum of human emotions are, the more we stew and swirl in the negative internal kind of soup, that's where our health is going to be impacted. But what's the balance of it is truly when I can open my heart, be honest, speak with what I need to speak. This is what we would say energy and motion of giving energy, of giving your truth, giving your honesty.
Yep. And
that's going to keep you much healthier than holding it in. And it could be the same with determining with emotions, where you're like reactive and you're like drama, and that's the other end that can wipe you out. And so we're naturally always trying to get in a balance. And so what's ironic in my field is that you addressing your health is bringing yourself back into balance, back into elemental balance, back into the emotional, physical, mental, spiritual balance. That's part of the healing journey. It's not just addressing the affliction, but it's all of you.
1,000,000,000%. And prior to, the throat issues, I had digestion issues. It's all connected stress. I knew right away. That's where it was. But I believe, and I'm sure you've seen this, and I wonder if you believe it, after a while, if you don't address it, it just starts getting deeper, more health issues. On to the next one, until you're in balance.
Yes. And spirit starts like a little knock. You get a couple little annoyances, a little afflictions, and the more you tune out or ignore it, the knock of your physical health gets louder and stronger. And so if we keep ignoring it, we will stop in our tracks with a major health problem. And so this is where it's important that we are designed to evolve. We're designed to be able to change pattern and to find a better pattern. And so typically our health shows up when there's something we need to change in our pattern. And if we change our life, our health gets better. And you've shared that when you share your stories about your journey.
Yeah, it's not about me. I just don't want people going through things for these reasons, but right back to stress.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't even realize that we're stressed out. Many times because we're so used to it. It's a way of life. It may present in different ways, but it's still doing the same thing internally to you.
Exactly. Because we sort of numb out to, it builds and it gets stronger and stronger, and we just keep accommodating it rather than addressing it. And so, when I work with people and they have health problems, when you say the skin thing and the throat thing and the digestion thing, like that speaks to me actually about what patterns need to change and the mind, body, spirit of healing. That it speaks volumes about where you actually have an opportunity to change patterns in your life that are going to help you get more in balance and to be like happier, healthier, more harmony.
Somebody comes to you and they present some things. Maybe it's health challenges. Maybe they're aware. Yeah, I got a lot of stress. It's like anxiety. All is going on in my life. What's a starting point, and how do you normally help somebody?
Right. So my starting point, actually, integrative health coach. So I do tie your health into your whole life well-being. But in my training, I also, in my healing paradigm, that I start with the date of birth. And I actually look at the patterns of your innate, what you were born into, and your proclivity to evolve and grow. And
hold on. Yeah. Let's dissect. Hold on. Microscope coming out. You look at the date of birth. Are we talking about the full date of birth?
Yes.
Month, date, year.
Yes.
And is this loosely connected to astrology?
Earth astrology, not star astrology, Earth astrology, and some of the other kind of, I work because it's within my paradigm to work with wheels and circles. And so I actually plot out where you were born in terms of Earth astrology. That's part of the pattern I look at. But I also look at your age because if you remember, we've talked before about the 3-year cycles, that every 3 years you kind of get a new focus in your life of what you're working on through how you're evolving over time in your life. So it's significant to me, someone's age in terms of year and months, and how I plot that out of where are you now in your life? What's up for you? And so that speaks volumes to me also about how to support people where they need to focus the change. And so that's my training in the healing paradigm of what are you really screaming about? What is the spiritual cause of this physical problem that could be something minor like food allergies, knee pain, or cancer, something big? I mean, but it speaks to me about that individual and what they're learning from. It's about your health is one of the major teachers that we all learn from in our life as physical beings. What can we learn? Mm-hmm.
I see you way deeper than I ever expected. And not that I didn't think you were amazing in terms of what you do, but I didn't know that you went these layers deeper in really looking at the 360 holistic approach right down to the Earth astrology, which I know very little about, but it sounds fascinating.
Yeah, and the Earth astrology is really based on animal totems. And animals, as you know, are always instinctual. They don't have free will choice. So they know clearly who they are in their naturalness. And so there's a wheel of animal totems that we're all born with that help us connect to who we really are in our naturalness when we peel away the things we've picked up to try to cope with life that are not really part of our naturalness, but more of a coping mechanism. So we can pick up some pretty bad habits or some ways to protect ourselves, to ensure that we'll fit in, conform, be loved and liked, but it takes us away from who we're really meant to be in our shining. And so we can learn a lot from the animal world for ourselves. Even if you are driving down the road and you see an eagle in the sky, oh, there's an eagle. It's not just an eagle. It's like that eagle came in your path today to give you a little message about what that eagle has in its naturalness.
We're on the same page. I totally agree. Things I know it's a cliche, but in my journey, things do happen for a reason. That eagle just didn't show up. Could have been anywhere. Why is it there? Why are you seeing it? Could have been flying over, every day. You didn't see. Why did you see it at that moment? And animals, we are animals. And I look at my dogs, my cats, and I've had a new appreciation for what they got going on in terms of their intuition, in terms of their communication, in terms of they're perpetually grounded. They don't wear shoes. They're always touching the floor. Yeah, unless they're on the couch. Yeah. There's a lot to come from that when you really just take a second and kind of process it a little bit, right?
Yes. And that's the part about our nature, free will. That's what pulls us out of balance. We make choices that are not in alignment. And so we're learning how to exercise our free will, how to really be aware of our choices. But in the process, animals don't have to worry about that because they don't have free will. A cow will be a cow, a horse will be a horse. They know who they are. But we get a little confused about our identity sometimes.
The free will is so important. And when you look at an animal, I think this was my wake up. They're now. They are living truly in the moment. Yeah, they'll remember something that happened in the past, but they're not worried about the future. I want to eat now. Feed me now, please. They're not, it's now. And I don't think a lot of us do that.
It's about tuning the muscle of conscious awareness, paying attention and noticing, which has kind of been a theme through all of our conversations about stress mastery is, having enough personal awareness internally to know what you need to support yourself in that moment, to make a different choice, to change the pattern or to address something that isn't working for you versus just blindly staying stuck in the comfort zone, the devil you know.
Wow. Yeah, the devil you know. When you work with people, Sara, do you experience with them a lot of aha moments where they kind of put this stuff together?
I do, because I can see them more than they can. I mean, I understand the human nature and I can really, but I'm going to support them to gain their own awareness, but I have the tools to help them, reveal and uncover what they need for themselves. So, the coaching client is the expert of their life. They know who they are, what they want, their heart's desire. It's really my job to be the guide, kind of holding the GPS to get us into the direction of change. To get someone moving forward, creating that life that they love. That's, much more happiness and more kind of healthy, fulfilling relationships, feeling more, able to step into leadership in their life, whether it's at home, in their community, or at work. It's all basic. What all of us kind of desire is how we can show up with our individuality without apologies.
You have all these tools, experience, connected so many different modalities. Are you also intuitive?
Well, we're all intuitive, but are we tapping into it?
I agree with you.
Are we listening?
I totally agree.
I do come from a shamanic lineage, so there's a lot of healing that I have been trained with, but we still need the Western model. We need Western medicine for the diagnosis. The treatment is the bridge. The coaching is the greater healing of, how to really unwind these patterns that made us sick. You kind of spiral into a health problem and then you got to spiral back out. There's not a quick solution, but the more we stay focused on making the changes that are going to get us back into balance, that's where coaching can really help someone to stay on track with their actions, to keep moving forward, to gain those aha moments.
And courage.
And that empowers.
Don't spiral, people. Go to the website, start a conversation with Sara. Directions, 4, wellness.com. Yes. Wonderful talking with you today. I've learned so much. Learned not just about life in general and what's going on with all of us, but you and what you offer and how you do what you do. And I appreciate that. Yeah.
If you want to learn more about tyrants, it's all here in my book. There's a whole chapter on it.
And there's that C word, courage again.
Courage to shine.
Love
Yep.
it.
Try to feel confident outside your comfort zone.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.